All right, welcome everyone to Salt Air, the brand new and improved Salt Air. Can we say improved? I'm going to say improved. We're improving it.
Improved, yeah, because I'm not alone anymore.
That's right. Progress. We love progress and improvement. So welcome to Salt Air. This is the new and improved Salt Air. We are rebooting and renewing so many of our previous Salt Air episodes, as well as a ton of brand new and fresh material. This is just episode 2, so still fresh and new and fun. I'm Janae Andrus, the Salt Community Manager and your host of Salt Air, and I'm here with Thomas Hatch, creator of Salt and all brilliant things. That's your intro. You're just all the brilliant
I'll take it. It's a little over the top.
It's nothing like Chunga. You should hear how Chunga introduces Tom on The Hacks, which is our podcast that you can check out anytime. So we are on Zoom. Sorry, Tom, what were you going to say?
Chunga is ridiculous.
Chunga is ridiculous, but we love him.
That's his brand. Cool. His brand is ridiculousness.
And it's great. We'll try to have an equal amount of ridiculous in our own way. It won't be Chunga ridiculous. It will be Janae ridiculous, which is different level of ridiculous.
Yes, very different ridiculous, but definitely prevalent.
We still have fun. So we are going to be talking about all kinds of fun things today. We want to connect with you though. So if you're not already in our community Slack, come join us, and you can find all things salt at our website, saltproject.io. So saltproject.io is your source of truth for all things salt community. So also you can, of course, subscribe to Salt Air here, hit that button, and we're glad you're here. So I have something really cool to show Tom. You ready for this, Tom? He hasn't seen this yet, by the way. Ready? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
He looks scared, and that's okay. So we have a new Tumbler. He's seen the old one, but there's a new one with Tom's face on it. What do you think, Tom?
That's both fantastic and terrible.
I know. I love it so much, but it looks just like you. So
it actually is a pretty good representation. Whoever drew me strengthened my jaw, so thank you for that.
Now, here's what's cool about this Tumbler. It has all the Hatch-isms, as we call them. So it's all these quotes that Tom says all the time. And we have this on a Tumbler, and soon it will be in our store. So don't worry, you can get one soon. But it's kind of the greatest thing ever. Just saying. So some of these quotes, the first one is, "My name is Thomas Hatch and I approve this pull request." And then, "When in doubt, shell out." Talk to me about that one.
So "when in doubt, shell out" is one of my favorite things to say, because what I'm trying to actually say when I say "when in doubt, shell out" is not just that not just that it's okay to shell out sometimes in software, but also that there's a balance, right? There's a balance when you're developing, and that is that you can't always do everything the elegant way. Sometimes you've got to take a shortcut. So for those who might not be aware, shelling out, I don't mean paying money.
That's right. That's an important clarification.
Yeah, this is not.
When in doubt, shell out.
Says, well, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'll solve this problem with money. That is not a good ad. That is not a good thing to do.
Don't do that. Life lesson.
Shelling out when you're writing software means that you run a shell command. That you just say, look, there's another piece of software on this computer that I can just execute in a raw format and get its information. From the perspective of making salt, this has very often been a very useful tool. And it's been a useful tool because, say we're integrating with an operating system and we need to call the underlying package manager for that operating system, it's a lot easier to shell out to that than it is to build an entire intermediary translation to that application or to that library. And so, yeah, one of the reasons I like to say it is because it's very easy for software developers and a lot of people in general to want to avoid ever taking any little shortcuts. And really my argument is that if you do it right, you have to take the occasional shortcut. but you've got to be careful about the shortcuts that you choose. And so every now and then I do get to say to somebody, when in doubt, shell out. Like, I think it's okay if we just shell out. I think that the shortcut that you've issued is one that meets some of the rules that are good for a shortcut. Every now and then, a shortcut does not meet the rules that are good for a shortcut. And in those cases, you definitely want to not shell out. And that mistake has been made by us and others. But when we shell out, it's important to come back and ask questions like, how much time am I buying here by doing this? Is there an alternative that would still be really quick and efficient? Am I able to do this in a secure manner? Can I trust the software that I'm calling out to? Am I calling out to it in a reasonable and safe way? Things like that. And those are mistakes that we have made in the past by shelling out when we shouldn't have. But yeah, for a long time, and still, I will say, when in doubt, shell out.
I love it. Can you think of a time that you said that recently and it was highly applicable? Can you tell the story of the situation and why you said it? And I mean, you say it all the time, but
we actually recently we had a security issue around shelling out. And so a bunch of people were coming back to me and saying, well, Tom, I guess that we shouldn't be shelling out ever. And I came back and I had to kind of reemphasize that, one, these shell outs that cause the security issues were not my code. Two, and I think more importantly, this is what I'm coming back in and saying is that my statement isn't to say, oh, just it's okay to take a shortcut in a naive way. And so I was able to come back and say, no, I'm still going to stand by when in doubt, shell out. But the emphasis was on enriching the situation and coming back and saying, look, there's more here than looking at things in a black and white scenario. And so ironically, the last time that I said when in doubt, shell out at an engineering meeting had nothing to do with telling someone to shell out, but more to do with trying to explain that when you think about the world, and especially engineering in a black and white sense, then you're gonna put yourself in a corner. You're gonna make yourself jump through unnecessary hoops. You're gonna build unnecessary complexity. And whenever you look at things from a black and white perspective, you build complexity that shouldn't have to exist. And when that happens, you introduce a different class of bugs and a different class of issues.
I love that. And I especially like what you said about when in doubt, shell out doesn't mean when you're being naive to just do things irresponsibly. Like, I like that clarification because, I mean, what it sounds like you're saying is just because you're not completely sure doesn't mean you should shut down and not show something for it, right?
Yeah, so at this point, I would say when in doubt, shell out means look at the tools that you have. Stop thinking that every problem is a nail and I've just got a hammer. And that it's okay to use more tools. It's okay to be responsible about the tools that are available. Instead of, again, always thinking that there's only one right way to do things. Or by taking, an overly black and white outlook. It's okay to take a rich view of what the possibilities are and what the potential options are, and then executing with those options.
I love that. Have a multifaceted approach, be bold, be diverse in your willingness to explore alternative options and resources. I love it.
Right.
When in doubt, shell out.
That's right.
That's awesome. I love it. Thanks so much, Tom. We have a lot of fun at Salt Air. Be sure to join us. We're going to drop another episode next week. So hit that button, subscribe, like us, and we'll see you next time.